And what's up, movie viewers? Dena Movie Views here, asking what you watching. Well, today I am watching The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Episode 2. Episode 2 is called Star Spangled Man. And it opens with the new Captain America being in the locker room. And he is reminiscing as he is about to appear on Good Morning America. And he is sharing his thoughts with an unnamed woman or unknown woman. And I assume that she is a relative or a love interest of his because they share an I love you and a kiss on the hand at the end of their conversation. He shares this with her that he doesn't want to fail because so many have big expectations of him in this role as Captain America. She leaves. Then his sidekick comes into the room. And yep, it is another black guy sidekick, just as the Falcon was a sidekick to Captain America. He calls himself Battlestar. Here's a hint. It would be wonderful to see black men in original superhero roles with a black sidekick and also with a black female love interest. Now, wouldn't that be amazing to see? Yes, it would indeed. Tyler Perry, Oprah Winfrey, Spike Lee, and all of you other black producers, directors, and studio owners, it's okay to create black heroes with black characters. Call me. I'll write the storyline for you. And be sure to have a black male with a black female love interest. Surely the Black Panther can't be the only one. Okay. Anyways, Bucky approaches Falcon as he is about to leave for a mission of sorts and tells him that he should not have given up the shield. And Sam tells him it wasn't what he wanted and goes on to tell him he has bigger things to deal with. And then he pulls out his cell phone and he begins to show him a picture of this guy in a mask. Or I would assume it's a guy, it's a person in a mask. But this person is a part of a terrorist group called Flag Smashers. Sam doesn't want Bucky to come along on this mission, but Bucky insists. He comes along anyway. And while they're on the plane, Bucky and the Falcon is getting ready. You can tell he's about to jump out of the plane. But Bucky asks him, what is the plan? And Sam doesn't respond. Sam simply jumps from the plane and leaves Bucky, who asks, where's the chute? He asks the person in the plane, where's the chute? And then he is told it is too low for a chute. So Bucky just simply drops out of the plane without a parachute. And he's showing off his invincibility, as always. But they enter this facility where they find there are members of this group, Flag Smashers, whom are stealing things. They are loading something onto these big containers, onto this big truck to be transported. And Bucky is more than happy to intervene, but Sam asks him to wait. Like, hold on. Don't be a hothead, he's almost telling him. He's letting him know that they're not assassins. And he said to him, and I thought this was very funny what Sam said to Bucky. He said, I know you spent a little time in Wakanda and you come out White Panther. Bucky responded, it's actually White Wolf. So what does that mean? But the trucks are now on the road and they're moving fast. And Bucky makes his way onto the truck to see what is, he's checking to see what they are carrying, what it is that they are smuggling. And while he's looking to see what it is that they have stolen and put into the truck, he's telling Sam, it looks like some kind of vaccine or something, a serum or something. There's this girl that appears And Bucky sees this young woman and he greets her. She smiles, and the next thing you know, Bucky comes flying out the back of the truck because the woman is whipping his hiney. Turns out the barrels that they are stealing contains serum that gives them superhuman strength. They are all super soldiers. Sam joins into the fight, and somehow they end up fighting on top of this truck that is speeding down the highway. Well, it's speeding down this road. And they're fighting while it's two trucks actually, two long 18-wheeler trucks. They're in motion. So while they're fighting, it's about a total of 8 men, I think it was, that they were fighting. They're all super soldiers. So during the fight, Captain America, the new Captain America, and his sidekick, whose name is Battlestar Hoskins, they drop down from a helicopter and join in the debacle. And the helicopter drops them down. They're all fighting, these 4 against those 8. And honey, they are getting tore up because these super soldiers, they can fight. They got superhuman strength. So, in fact, the Falcon actually had to rescue Bucky. And that's when you see him in that part when he says that little girl whooped your ass, didn't she? But anyway, they save him. The Falcon had to rescue Bucky from under one of the trucks, and Captain America saves Hoskins, who is being beaten up, a Battlestar. Now the Flag Smashers actually get away, and they go to this safe house. And these people are more than happy to see them. They're so proud of what they're doing. And that's when their leader is revealed. And her name is Carly Morgenthau. And she's a so-called terrorist. But she believes that they cannot allow the same people to be put back in power after the blip. And they have this saying that it's one world, one people. That's their mantra. She said and believes that they care more about the people who came back from the blip than the people who were left. So this is the second time I've heard people imply that this blip was horrible on the people who did not leave. Something occurred that they haven't completely revealed. So the villains at this point appear to be the Flag Smashers, a group of super soldiers. Although to some, the Flag Smashers are not seen as actual villains because they do help the people by providing food, shelter, and protection. The Flag Smashers are stealing and hoarding this serum that the power broker used to experiment on people. However, it makes them dependent upon this drug, and they believe that they are being helpful. Like I said, that serum gives them superpower. But they were stealing drums, big drums of this stuff. And they are not exactly looked upon as villains by the people that benefit from what it is that they do. And they are trying to assist the less fortunate. Meanwhile, John Walker, who is played by, of course, his name is Wyatt Russell. He's the new Captain America, remember that. Now, he is facing all kinds of problems within, internally, and externally. He's trying to get Sam and Bucky to be a part of helping to solve what it is that these terrorists are doing. He wants them to be a part of it. He wants them to work together. But Sam and Bucky are kind of reluctant. They aren't impressed. And I'm still deciphering what happened. I'm trying to understand what it is exactly that makes them so reluctant to assist him in his efforts. Because it seems like they could all work together. He didn't want the shield, and they have someone at this point, we don't know what's going to happen in the future, that has seemed to have their best interest. But this is fantasy, so we don't know what may come. I got a feeling there's more to this Captain America. I just don't know. But anyway, Bucky tells Sam that he knows who may be instrumental in helping to give some insight into what is going on. So he takes Sam to Baltimore to meet with this guy called Isaiah Bradley. And who is Isaiah Bradley? Well, Isaiah Bradley, we learned, is a black Captain America that Sam and Steve never even knew about. He's a very angry black man. But in this episode, Isaiah, the details behind it is that Isaiah was a hero. And he was one of the men that, what's his name? Hydro, he fought for his country, but Hydra feared him because he fought against Bucky in the past. And he was fighting for his country, he thought, but his country ended up torturing and abusing him, then disowned him and threw him in jail for 30 years. So he has a huge chip on his shoulder, as he should. The government experimented on him and has caused them to be angry and bitter for their inhumane treatment of him. Now, when they went to visit Isaiah, it was clearly supposed to be a hood. There was a young man that greeted them at the door of Isaiah's house, and he is believed to be the grandson of Isaiah. And later on, it said that he will become known as Patriot and eventually a member of the Young Avengers, and that remains to be seen. Now, I have to admit, I started to get an uneasy feeling upon seeing this scene. It made me feel some kind of way. Now, I do not like that even in the world of Marvel, black heroes are still in a white supremacist society. And it takes away from the whole notion of superheroes to me. I am watching to see where the writer is going with this, but I don't like the feeling I am getting. When I'm watching and hearing the interaction, they're just pulling too much of the white supremacy mindset into this whole arrangement. You've pulled it into this fantasy world, and this to me is a turnoff. For example, in the next scene, Sam and Bucky are asked to leave. Isaiah puts them out in his little fit of anger. He asks them to get out of his house. And as they are walking away, they're having a conversation. And Sam asks Bucky, "Why didn't you tell me about this?" And he asks him, "Did Steve know about Isaiah?" And they're walking and they're talking. And I'm reminding you that this is a stereotypical black neighborhood, which is another thing I did not like about this episode. But all of a sudden, while they're having this conversation, there is a police car that begins to follow them with a siren. And who is in the police car? Well, there are two white policemen that quickly get out of their car, and one asks for Sam, the Falcon, to give him his ID. Not the white guy, not Winter Soldier, but Sam, the Falcon, the superhero. Now, both policemen get out the car, but one is just overly aggressive. He walks towards Sam and behind him. And I'm like, the Falcon is the superhero. Where is this stuff? I just didn't like that. But they were behaving as we tend to see them in real life. And he asked Sam for his ID. Sam, the Falcon, replies, "I don't have ID." The police says, "Stay calm." How many times have we seen this? But anyway, he says, "Stay calm. And Sam replies, I am calm. What do you want? We're just talking. And Bucky tells Sam, just give him your ID. And Sam said, I'm not giving him shit. We're just talking. Then this dumbass police, for lack of a better word, asks Bucky, the white guy, is this guy bothering you? Like, oh my God. But anyway, Bucky replies, no, he's not bothering me. And then he asks the policeman, do you know who this is? And at that point, the other cop walks over, leans in, and whispers in the dumbass cop's ear, hey, these guys are Avengers. He replies, oh God, I am so sorry. I didn't recognize you without the goggles. Now, by that time, another police car pulls up behind him. And they got the siren. There's radio chattering. He's apologizing. Then he walks over to the other police car. And they come back and say sweetly, Mr. Barnes, there's a warrant for your arrest. They're speaking to the Winter Soldier. And they handcuff Bucky in the front and puts him in the car nicely. Sam is standing there. He watches them take him away. Looks toward Isaiah's house. And that scene ends. But yes, it made me feel a certain way. And not a good way either. I think this whole scene should have been rewritten. I don't know whether writers, I don't know the intent or where they're going with this. But I don't like it so far. I'm just sick of seeing this in real life, and I certainly don't think it is a positive thing for so-called black superheroes in fantasy to see this. It is not a positive image for black children in general to have thrust into a movie about superheroes. It's a fantasy, and somehow this has been incorporated into that reality, and that's not a good thing. And further explains why we need to develop more creative black superheroes and characters ourselves. Characters and movies that remove the white supremacist mindset completely and focuses on the capabilities and fearlessness of black leadership or black heroes. It, to me, takes away from the Falcon's role in his character. To me, it takes away from it. I personally don't like seeing this, and I do not believe it is healthy for our black children to see. It sends a negative message, a deep subconscious connotation that no matter what or where we are, even in the world of fantasy, that black people are at the liberty of Caucasian people and white supremacy, which is not true or cool. And this alone can leave our black babies and our black youth with a feeling of hopelessness and despair. I mean, why not just leave him as the superhero and remove that nonsense? This is a fantasy world. Leave that stuff out of there. We need to see boldness in our superhero strength, leadership, and the influence of being a strong, authoritative black role model. Because to me, like I said before, it says that we cannot even fantasize about being heroes or worship without their approval. Nor can we be free from the lasting effects of this inhumane treatment from slavery, continuing with this myth of white supremacy and domination. So no, I didn't like that. And here is where I say to black movie makers, black studio producers, directors, and writers, we should be leading the way with good movies and programming that eliminates that narrative for our black youth. We can create black superheroes. It's perfectly okay. We can give them positive images. We can give them as many superpowers. We have the ability to do that. We just need to do it and get rid of these negative stereotypes or implications in movies. Okay? We need to take the reins. But the question is, will we and when will we? Now, after Bucky is arrested, he meets up with his therapist at the station. That includes Falcon in his therapy session. It's more like an interrogation therapy session that becomes an attempt to analyze the issues between the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. They were forced into what eventually appeared to be a couples therapy so that they may determine the cause of their animosity toward one another and possibly seek resolution. But to me, they got just a little bit too close with that little chair exercise. They were just physically too close in that scene. But even in that therapy session, it turned into a bit of a pissing contest while doing the therapy. Then they got into the staring contest. So here is the long story short. Sam Wilson, who is the Falcon, revealed he wasn't quite ready to fill the shoes of Steve Rogers, Captain America. And Bucky admits that he's worried. He's worried that if Steve was wrong about Sam being a hero, then maybe Steve was wrong about him being able to be one too. They make an agreement. Well, Sam make an agreement to squash the nonsense and handle business and deal with all of that later. And Bucky tells Sam that there is someone that can help them when it comes to the case that they are working on. And that they are going to see Zemo. Dun dun dun! And they're off to see whomever this Zemo is. Anyway, I cannot wait to see whom this character is and what this leads to. Now, if you would like to watch Falcon and the Winter Soldier, it is currently streaming on Disney Plus, and a new episode comes on every Friday. Now, I want to know what you think about episode 2 of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. This has been Dena Movie Views. Like, share, and comment. And remember, it's my view. What you watching?